Hi everybody, welcome. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for purchasing my Bliss paint pens and supporting my small business. This is a little tutorial video on how to use your Bliss paint pens and also how to keep them clean and how to replace the nibs. So when you get your Bliss paint pens, they might have already settled, so they might look like this. So you'll see like some white, and then you'll see the mica powder that gives it color. So what you're going to want to do, the first thing you're ever going to want to do before using Bliss paint pens, you're going to want to shake them. And you're going to hear some balls. There's some balls in here that help mix the paint. You're going to hear them rattle, and that's good. That means it's mixing. So you're just going to shake them until it's fully mixed, right? And when you first get your paint pens, when you open them, they're going to look like this. So there's no paint down at the nib. So we want to get some paint down at the nib. So how you're going to do that. So you're going to shake your pen, make sure it's all mixed up, and then you're going to pump it. Pump it. And you want to do this very lightly, so not a lot of force, and you're just going to keep doing this. You don't want to go like super fast. I mean, you can, but I just kind of go up and down kind of slowly. And you can kind of start seeing the paint starting to flow. It's going to get all up in there and all up down here. So you're going to keep on pumping it until it's completely filled. The paint starts getting all over the little sponge inside, and now it's starting to flow out the top, the nib. So now you got your paint there. So now you can draw. And while you're drawing, you might notice that the paint starts flowing less freely. So to get it to keep flowing, you can put the cap back on, shake again, take the cap off, you can pump again, and that should help get some more paint out. Now, you'll notice as you use your pens a lot, the nibs are going to, get less pointy, they're going to become dull, they might just not work as well. The paint does like to dry sometimes, so to keep the nibs nice, you want to, maybe after every use, you want to take the nib out, which is very easy. So that's all you do. Soak it in some water. So if you want, you can just plop it in some water, and you're going to see the paint kind of, come off of it. I just kind of like plopped it in there, and you can see the paint's coming off. So that just kind of keeps it nice and fresh. And it should turn white again. So now it's white. So then you can put your nib back in there, and you can pump it again. And then you can start drawing again. But you want to make sure the paint's all up in there. So you don't have to soak it in water. If you want, you can just literally keep the nib in there, and you can take your water and you can just kind of wash it a little bit instead of soaking it, because if you soak it, it's going to take a longer amount of time to get the paint back in there. So if you just want to dunk it in some water just to keep it nice and wet so the paint doesn't dry, that works too. Okay, there we go. So it's very like watery right now, but as you go, it'll get better. And then there's also extra nibs. So if this one becomes dull or nasty, you can literally just take it out like that, and you can replace it with a new nib. Okay. And then you would repump it. And there you go. You got your new nib on there. Also, with Bliss paint pens, they dry pretty quickly. So, you probably only need to let them dry for about a minute. And then you'll be able to, you know, obviously it's not dry yet. But you can seal these with varnish. So you could do like a spray varnish, but you can also do a pour-on varnish, which is really nice. So you can put a little bit of varnish and the paint won't go anywhere as long as it's completely dry. So, you know, you have to wait until it's dry, but you can seal with varnish, which is really nice. So, and then also these paints work on all kinds of surfaces. So certain papers, there are some papers that like to, you know, like kind of like ball up. Those are the really cheap papers, very thin. So you want to use like some type of like cardstock works. These also work on wood. I've used them on ceramic and things like, I've just tested it out on this thing and it doesn't even come off, which is really nice. So always test them out before you use them on a surface, just to make sure it works. So that is how you use your Bliss paint pens and how you keep the nibs on them nice. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope it helped and I hope you love your Bliss paint pens.